This week in the Missouri Senate, we review the beginning of the final month of the 2025 regular legislative session.
House Bill number 742.
Wednesday afternoon and evening, Missouri senators spent a few hours on House Bill 742, a measure that would prohibit state departments from spending money on diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Senator Rick Brattin of Harrisonville handles this proposal in the upper chamber.
There's actually been an executive order to end these practices. This would just be the solidification of that in statutes.
Senator Stephen Weber of Columbia is among those who oppose this bill.
I can say with almost complete certainty, every single person in this chamber wants what's best for our state, for their community, for our kids.
House Bill 742 has been set aside for future talks.
And I ask that you recognize the senator from Cole for motion.
The Missouri Senate then returned to House Bills 567, 546, 758, and 958 for the second time in a week. Senator Mike Bernskoetter of Jefferson City handles this legislation, which seeks to modify provisions relating to employee compensation in the upper chamber.
After a lot of negotiations, we're on the 31st version of this piece of legislation.
Missouri Senate Minority Floor Leader Doug Beck of Affton says they were close to a compromise on this a week earlier before discussions were ended early on April 17th.
Drafted out of conceptual things that we've been talking about, and as we went through the document, some of the things that we thought were conceptually in there are not exactly what we thought, so further discussions will be on those.
After nearly 9 hours, House Bills 567, 546, 758, and 958 was again laid over for further consideration.
House committee substitute for House Bill.
Tuesday afternoon and evening were dedicated to House Bills 595 and 343, legislation that seeks to prohibit counties and cities from enacting, maintaining, or enforcing certain ordinances relating to landlords and tenants. Senator Nick Schroer of Defiance handles this bill in the upper chamber.
Our founders held that property rights were central in not only the prosperity of our nation, but the freedom of its people.
During discussion on the floor of the Missouri Senate, Senator Patty Lewis of Kansas City told the bill handler there are some who wonder if this measure would usurp local ordinances.
And I definitely have some concern. The city where I come from, has adopted local ordinances, and they testified in opposition of this bill.
House Bills 595 and 343 now returns to the Missouri House of Representatives for further consideration.
We've actually had at least 2 members that I know of that have filed bills on this.
With only 3 weeks now left in the 2025 regular legislative session, there are still hundreds of measures that await discussion on the floor of the Missouri Senate. Missouri Senate Majority Floor Leader Tony Luetkemeyer of Parkville says some lawmakers continue to work on extending something that became law 2 years ago.
Have filed bills on this. I believe Senator Moon has a piece of legislation on this. And then I believe Senator Berger has the companion legislation, which removes the sunset for the Save Women's Sports Act.
This is also contained in Senate Bill 10, which continues to move through the Missouri House of Representatives.
Senate Bill 45, this is an issue.
Also among unfinished business is Senate Bill 45. Senator Travis Fitzwater of Holtz Summit is the sponsor. On January 22nd, he told the Missouri Senate Families, Seniors, and Health Committee his proposal seeks to enact provisions relating to payments for prescription drugs.
Pharmacy benefit managers who will tell you how transparency and ensuring that people can get the drugs they need that have been approved by their doctors and the patient, how that somehow raises costs.
Senate Bill 45 is currently on the Missouri Senate Informal Calendar and could be taken up for discussion at any time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the committee, Stephen Weber.
Another is Senate Bill 89. Senator Weber is the sponsor. On January 23rd, he told the Missouri Senate Education Committee this legislation would make Veterans Day a holiday for all employees of the University of Missouri system.
When I was talking to some friends that work at the university, I was surprised to find out they didn't have Veterans Day off. They have a lot of other federal holidays, but not Veterans Day.
The panel voted Senate Bill 89 do pass on February 11th.
Move that the Senate stand adjourned until Monday, April.
Session will resume on Monday
at 4 p.m.
And remember, you can follow these and other issues facing the Missouri Senate by visiting our website, senate.mo.gov. Reporting from the state capitol, I'm Dean Morgan.